Okay, Thomas O'Gallagher. Thomas English is my name. The Irish name is Thomas O'Gallagher. My uncle Thomas, he was known as Thomasine. Thomasine at that time was somebody that was smaller. He was smaller than my father, and he was a great man for going out on the hills there. And any time I went over there, he had a couple of hares hung on the back of the door. He had a shotgun there, and he would shoot them. And I remember the day he got married. He was married to this woman. Her name was Lavelle, Slim, known as Lavelle. And the house at that time was right up on Slievemore Road. And the wedding cake was a dumpling that was cooked by some other people there. And the Clamories were the people that provided the music. The Clamories are, you might think here over in this country now, as a Ku Klux Klan, but they had a straw hat on them and you couldn't see their face. So they were the Clamories that provided the music there. And I remember him going down there at one time, and he had those bracelets on his arm. White shirt and bracelets on his arm. I don't know what the bracelets are to keep the thing up. But anyway, he fished with my father. And my father was more daring, I think, than Thomasine. Because Thomasine's father-in-law was Pat Miley. And he told my father, he says, don't make her a widow. Which meant that, hey, be careful at sea. And that was it. But no, they fished together there for years and years with lobsters and things like that. They didn't come into the dock in Dewach. They come into Leck, which is right at the end of the road there in Tammy. And I remember Charlie the pub there, he was the one that would take the lobsters from them. And he would put them in a box and he would put sawdust into them. I guess that kept them alive. And he would ship them to Dublin or whatever the hell it was. McMonigal at that time, he was from Donegal. And he took care of the fishing when I worked with Sean Kilban. And we would get the salmon or the lobsters or whatever it was, and he would take care of them and ship them to Dublin. So at that time, he was married to a woman in Dewach, Mary English, I believe. And he was a pretty prosperous guy. He had a cinema. He had a movie house. It was called a cinema. And he built that there at one time. And I remember there at one particular time, there was a grand opening of it, or whatever it was, a concert or something. And myself, Michael Kelly from Pollach, and Paddy Kelly from the Wooden Bridge in Dewach, we were on stage with 3 captain's hats on us. And we had to sing this song, The Irish Rover. So that was the thing with McMonigal. But at that time, it was pretty good, yeah. But after that, then, years later, when I started fishing with Sean, well, it was okay. We were on the lobster fishing. And before that, my father had built, he had made lobster pots out of heather. We would go up on the mountain and pick the heather, and they were shaped like a strawberry. And he was very good at that. And I remember many of the time there, they fished with him there. And then eventually he sold it to Dr. King. Not Dr. King now, Dr. King's father, exactly. So, anyway.
He sold what, the lobster pots?
He sold the lobster pots, yeah. Yeah, and that was it. So, other than that, then, yeah, we did fishing in the Curragh. The Curragh was the main source of, fishing and things like that. So then Sean Kilban then decided he was going to buy a boat. So he had a he had a shop there in the Wach. And he bought a tractor and he ran it over the cliffs. And they made a song out of this. Sean Kilban and the Tractor of Connie Moore. There was nobody in there at that time. Bingo, out there. He got the insurance for that. Then the next thing, the house went on fire. Another incident where insurance job, you know. So anyway, he got the money from there, and he went to Killybegs in Donegal there, and he ordered a boat there.
Oh, the insurance money.
Yeah, for the insurance money. So anyway, we were up there anyway, and one time then he was up there, and Seamus Gallagher, our school teacher there, had a car there. A Hillman, no, it wasn't a Hillman Manx, I forget what it was anyway, but he borrowed the car from Seamus and drove up there to Killybegs. And on the way down from Achill, there between Castlebar and Newport, there's a lot of winding roads there, so they went over to the side there and wrecked the car. So, okay, that was it. They waited there all night, and the mailman then in the morning from Castlebar come down there, and they got a lift down to Achill. So they went up to Seamus and threw the keys on the car, on the table. And James said, "Where's my car?" He says, "Up there in Castlebar." He says, "We wrecked it," and that's it. So, okay, that was it. So after that, then, we would be back in Gilties, and Seamus would come in, and he had a stick there, and he would go up if he saw Sean Kilban, and he would pound the stick on the goddamn table. "Where's my car? Where's the money for this car?" And this and that. And he would rant and rave. And Sean would say, "It's gone," he says. "That's it. Goodbye." So that was it. So anyway, that was Seamus, and at that time was a school teacher there, but then he got into a situation where the mind was going, and he had a car, and he would not stop when he come down from the school road down to the main road, and he would go back to Gilties there, and he would get himself 6-pack of Guinness there, and he would just drive in, and then Michael Gilty would have to come back out and back the car out and turn it the opposite way, and then he would just drive out, goodbye, not looking anywhere, just go. But anyway, that was Seamus at that time. But Sean with the car with the boat there, yeah, we fished there together for a good time, and he was very I don't know what you would call it. He was more courageous than anything else. You know, we fished at one time, I remember, back towards Achill Head, and it was along the coast of Rogal. Now, the southwest wind was coming down this way, and we had maybe 20 pots. So you set one pot here with a buoy 30 feet down, and then it continues on. Then you have 20 pots and you have another buoy. So this is your area here. You have one buoy here and one buoy here. That's yours. So anyway, we start picking up from the lower end. And one particular time there, I told him, I says, "Look at it, watch the goddamn thing when we pick up the last pot. Now the 30 fathom of water, what the hell am I talking about? 30 fathom of rope comes up. All of a sudden, the rope is, bingo, into the propeller. Now we're heading down towards Blainmore Cove. Goodbye if we land there, that is it." So anyway, he says, "Hold on, put me over the side." Got him there, got a knife, and put him over the side.
And he can't swim.
He can't swim.
And you can't swim.
I'm holding his legs from the boat, and he's down there, and he's cutting the goddamn rope on the propeller down there. And he'd come up for a breath, and he'd go back down again and cut the rope again. So, no, yeah, so that was one of one of the bad incidents that we had there. Other than that, I don't know. At one time there, we were heading for Clare Island there, and it was a boat. We had a sail, and he put the goddamn sail up, and the wind. We couldn't control the sail. We didn't know how to sail a boat, you know. But other than that, that was we had quite a few experiences there with Chantal Band there. My father there at one time, when I was away somewhere, I'm not too sure where I was, maybe I was in Scotland or nothing. My father then was taken over and he worked with Chantal Band. Chantal Band there, you set your pots there, and then when you pick up your pots and you take the lobsters out of there and then you set the pots again. Now, he wouldn't set them real slow. He would set them on a fast pace. So 1, 2, you had to set the pots as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you had to make sure you put them out in that order. Otherwise, if you took the 6th one, bingo, the whole lot was out and tangled up. So anyway, my father was there, working with him. I don't know where I was. And the rope got caught in his leg. And he went over the side.
Whose leg?
My father's. Yeah. And he was there. Sean, stop the boat, pull him back in again, and that's it. He didn't drown, but he couldn't swim either. So we took a lot of chances, you know, in our younger days there. And my God Almighty, you know, one particular time there, I remember we had a storm there, and we were fishing on the south side. The south side would be on Achill side, and then we had to go around the north side in order to get shelter. So we went into Bunnacurry, and we're there. Bradley would be Chantal Band's brother-in-law. So we're heading back there anyway, and it is a bad night. Stormy, stormy, stormy. Wind and this and that. And we're going through Bullsmouth, and we're heading down there, and we got into Bunnacurry. And O'Gorman was ahead of us, Michael O'Gorman. And O'Gorman says, run her aground, get in. That was it. So what we did, got the goddamn boat and run it into Bunnacurry, run it into the ground in Bunnacurry. And so that was it. So the next day then, we had to take the boat out of there. So now instead of coming around the north side again, now we would go through the south side, and we go through Achill Head, or not Achill Head, Achill Sound. And the bridge was closed there. So you call up the county council and it says, look at, we had a mast on the boat and it would not fit underneath the bridge. So they says, okay, go ahead, we'll get notified with the county council. Now at that time, the bridge at that time was a manual bridge where they wound it up and turned it around. I don't know if you call it a cantilever or whatever the hell it was anyway. But yeah, we did that and we got through there. Maybe it took a day or so. And then we went all the way down to Cloughmore and around on the other side of the thing. Then at one time there was a festival there in Westport, Fishing Angle Festival. And there was people from all over the country, French, German, whatever, they would come there. So anyway, they needed a lot of boats from Dewach, or not, maybe Achill or whatever it was. So anyway, they called up Chantal Band and they said, we'll pay you so much there to bring up the boat. So we did. We went up there, and of course, we had a few pounds in our pocket at that time. And we went up there, and the first night we went up there, of course, we went up to the Railroad Hotel, had a couple of pints and things like that. And in Westport then, the tide would be, you know, way down at one time and then up on the other. When we got back at night, we would have to hang on to the the mast in order to get down there because the tide was so goddamn low. There was no ladder or things like that. So anyway, the first day there, we were there, and all of a sudden then this guy comes around. He says, rubby-dubby was meat for the fish. It was just like bait, yeah, and things like that. So the first day we went out there, we had 3 Frenchmen. And all they wanted was taupe. Taupe is a flat fish. So anyway, I think we got 1 or 2 the first day. Second day we were there too. It was the same thing again, taupe again and things like that. Then the third day, it was all finished. So they paid us off there and we started heading for home. Now it was getting late in the evening. And O'Gorman was with us too, Michael O'Gorman too. He had the same size boat as Sean Kilban did. His was the Lish Linna, and Sean Kilban's was the Lish Cara. That was the name of the boats. So we're heading back now, and it's getting late at night. And we're not too sure now about our way from Westport all the way back there. So O'Gorman says, Clare Island. Clare Island. Head for Clare Island. So we got into Clare Island and we tied the boats up that night. So it was dark now at night. So anyway, there's the McCabe's pub there is right by the thing, right by the water. And another one then is the other guy, he owns a hotel up there. And he used to run a ferry service from there into the mainland. O'Grady was his name. So anyway, the first night we went in there, okay, fine. That was it. So we decided, all right, fine, up to McCabe's pub. Nobody there at 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock then, a couple of people would show up. We'd have a couple of pints, and that's it. And then we slept on the boat that night. So anyway, the first night, Sean says, well, let's get some bacon. So we got this couple of pound of bacon there and took it down and we cooked it on the boat. And instead of getting the water a couple of times out of there and cleaning it, no, we didn't. We thought it was soup. It was nothing but salt water. Plain salt goddamn water. You know, that's what we're drinking. Salt.
From where?
From the ocean. Or from the bacon that we had. Instead of cleaning out the water every time, that was it. So anyway, we had this guy with us there. John Mangan was with Michael O'Gorman, and I was with Sean Kilban. So okay, fine. The next morning then we had a couple of pounds in our pocket, and we would go up to O'Grady's restaurant. And we had our bacon and eggs and sausages and living like kings and things like this. Anyway, we stayed there for 2 or 3 days. And by the time we left there then, it was blowing a storm. Nobody knew where we were. There was word out there that where are those guys that were in Westport and this and that. John Mangan there was with Sean Kilban, and he was always threatening himself. You know, when we'd be up there at the restaurant, he says, this guy here, he's got me imprisoned. He's the captain here, but he's got me imprisoned, and I can't leave. So anyway, so we go down one night then, and we're there sleeping in bed there, and I said to Sean, there's somebody outside. There's somebody in the water. Who was it? John Mangan. He had threatened to swim from Clare Island to Cloughmore.
He just wanted to get home.
He couldn't swim. So we go there, here he is out there. I said, I'm just washing my feet. That's all. I'm just washing my feet. So anyway, we decided to leave there after we had spent all our money. And now we're on the way to Cloughmore. In the meantime, O'Gorman had picked up a cousin of his. And he was pretty heavy into the drinking at that time. I forget exactly what his name was, but anyway, he was on board with us. So O'Gorman left in the morning there, and we followed him. And the first time that I ever saw a boat come out of the water, I could see the propeller in the front of O'Gorman's boat. The sea was that goddamn high and things like that. Finally, we got into Cloughmore, and we tied up the boat. Now here is this guy, this relation of O'Gorman's, and he was out of it. He couldn't do anything. So here we go. So now we're up in Cloughmore, and we have no transportation there. So here we go, John Mangan, Michael O'Gorman, myself and Sean, got a hold of this guy, a leg and an arm each. And we walked all the way from there, from Cloughmore, all the way down to Patton's Pub in Shrackings. Talk about the old age. This is like, unbelievable. Here we are, 4 goddamn people carrying this guy who couldn't walk. Finally got down there anyway and talked to Patton there, and he says, okay. He said, look, he says, I got a car, I'll drop you back at Achill Sound. So we went back to Achill Sound. We had only money left for a cup of soup. That was it, nothing else. We got into the bus there. I remember Mick Lynch was, at that time, there was a conductor and a driver. Now it's just one driver. But Mick Lynch says, okay, fine, get in the bus and that's it. So he didn't charge us anything. So that was it. Here we are back now in thing. Okay, all right. That's enough of that, I guess.